Apple Motion has some great text effects. In fact, Apple Motion is packed solid with text options. In fact, probably too many. But I'm just going to go through some of them with some text. So let's start with a completely fresh document. So let's just pause that, go to File and New in the Apple Motion menu, and you've got Motion Project. So click Open. And now what you can do, add some text. Just down here, along this bar, you've got text there, and I'm just going to click there and word text. So click, and I'm going to create sketchy text. Something very basic. And now I can manipulate that. I can obviously select it all. And with that all selected, I can then change it via the inspector. So go over there, inspector, and you've got lots of options. You can manipulate loads of different things like the outlines, glows, and drop shadow. You've got the format. You've got 3 tabs. Sometimes it's a bit hard to know exactly where something it particularly is. So you can go to format. And I find actually format is really quite a nice place to change things. So you might decide, you know what, the text, I don't like the text. I might go for type. So I just type that. But you can change it here as well. But you can change it down here in the text section. That's really sometimes the easiest place, because when you've got lots of complexity to your design, sometimes it's very hard to select individual characters. But at the moment, it doesn't actually do anything. So properties, I can change the scale. Now what I can do, of course, I can go over here, I can change a whole variety of things, add keyframes, just click there and so on. But I'm going to use behaviours in this. Really quick way of creating some interesting designs. So go to library and you've got behaviours. So just expand that out. And you've got here text animation, text sequence. You've got 232 in total. But the one I want is text sequence. So click that. And also you've got text basic and text continuous. So I'm just going to expand that out. Now sometimes it's very hard to expand out. It just seems to ignore me. So sketchy. As soon as you select that one, you can go for kooky, all the other ones. Go up here and click apply. And there it is. Now you've lost the face. Now you've got the outline or stroke. And I'm just going to resize it slightly. I always find it sometimes fiddly unless you just hover exactly right and get the cursor to expand. You can move it and reposition it. Now, once you've got that, you notice you've got over here in your layers, you've got this sketchy type. You've also got sketchy and you've got wriggle. Loads of options in both of them. Let's just say you want to change the word sketchy, or you want to manipulate that a bit. So go to inspector. You might decide, let's say, go to text, and you can see you've got here Barlow. Don't want that. I want something else, and maybe go for Aramo or something that doesn't look very different actually. Comic strip, whatever. Dido. So you can just change it. You don't have to have it all the same. Also, you can change the size. Just change that. So sketchy type. You can also change your tracking. So you can crunch that in. Line spacing, maybe go that way, and so on. Loads of different options. You've also got advanced. So with that selected, you can go for, say, slant. So you can slant it. You can also rotate it, all the characters, and so on. You can scale it and so on. Well, you can still, of course, change the text. Also, you can go to appearance and expand that out. And you can see there, you've got outline. Now, weirdly, outline is not active. Face is, which is very odd, isn't it? However, you just click there and then you get all the options. And you can also change the colour. So let's just change the colour for that one. And I'm going to go for, instead of colours, I'm going to go for gradient. You can go for, now it goes for this one, which is blue, or you might go for a different one for you, I don't know. But you can just drop this down and you can go for, say, desert sun. Or another one. And you can set the word type. Let's just select that. Whoops. See what I mean? It's sometimes easier to select it actually in the text where you can just change it there. Also, again, outline, so select that. And again, you can change the colour if you want to change the colour. It's not changing the top one, it's just changing that type. You can go again for gradient, so click there. And you've also got texture as well, which is really nice. And again, you expand that out and maybe go for that one. So you've got sketchy type, but you've got 2 gradients now. Well, I can manipulate that. I can manipulate layout. You've got lots of options here as well. Various things type on, you can just change that. Up to you. Also, you can do it via word, lines, etc. Anchor points, much, much more. But let's go and change the randomization. Because at the moment, if I go here and press play, you've got the basic movement, which I find quite intense, but probably too intense. So go to Sketchy. Now, weirdly, if you want to add the face, it's here. Sometimes that doesn't expand out. Sometimes you can click it and it just will ignore you. Yeah, it does expand out eventually. Normally on the second or third. Don't know why, but it does. You can add it in if you want. So you can see then with opacity, you can put it back to 100%. So you get that back and you can then manipulate the colours, etc. But I'm just going to keep it with the outline or stroke. And of course you can manipulate the outline so you can expand that out. And again, that might just ignore or sometimes actually change things. So you can change there like that. So maybe go for it thin, up to you. 4-colour, again, you can expand that out. And that gives a lot of options. Again, it might expand, it might not. Sometimes it doesn't. You just can click it all the time and it just will ignore you. Very odd. I don't want that one anyway. What I want is the colours. So click that and expand that out. And again, it might actually do it. And you can see I can use the reset. I always often do that. It seems then after you've done that, yes, it does expand. Well, hey, very peculiar. I do not know why it doesn't respond. Maybe it's my machine. I don't know. But once I've got that, you can see you've got a lot of options. Got lots and lots of, you also got drop shadow there at the top as well. That's quite a nice one, but obviously with black at the back, it's not going to be so useful. So you've got here from keyframes, characters, you can just go for, say, word. So with that, press play, this play, and that's working on the word. So, but I don't want that. I want to change things like the spread. So you can see as you do that, and I'm going to go back to character. So character, and also you can do it without, obviously you've got spaces. You might not want to have the spaces being used, so you can always go for character without spaces. Certainly worth keeping if you've got sort of obviously a complex paragraph or something. So you can tweak these, put them down if you want to reduce it down so it's not so intense. You've also got here forwards, backwards, or random, or centre to, and so on. Will have an effect. Also got here constant, you've got ease in, also loops, so you can just want to reduce that down so it's not so high, or you go the other way, up and down, just try them. Once per loop, once over the entire duration. Just try that. And again, what I always do, press play. I think it's a bit better. Not so intense. But you can see you've got lots of other options here. End offsets, variants. Again, you expand those out and you can see variants there. You've got 0%, amount, 100%, and so on. You just tweak all these various things there and will create different effects. There's also wriggle. And I find wriggle very useful because, again, you've got tons of more options. So wriggle, you can see it here, 11. So you might want to just reduce that down. You might want to say, let's just make it a little bit less. Also, frequency, just decrease that. Wriggle, noisiness, reduce that down. And I'm not going to go with any of these offsets. You can, of course, use offsets, try out different things like that. And again, there, much more relaxed, much nicer. I don't want it too intense. However, let's stop that. But you can see the wriggle and the sketchiness can be used to create some interesting designs. Well, you can also go back here to the actual text. And you've got here, layout method. You've got type. You've also got paragraph. So you can select that. You can also select, which is the one I like, pass and scroll, etc. Do scroll, always seems to go off the screen. With path, you get a path. Sometimes it will appear, sometimes it will not. But you can see it once you select it all, which is slightly odd, but still it is there. So there it is, you can actually... Now, unfortunately, doesn't seem to be a way of adding multiple control points. I would love to see that. It just seems to be one. It's okay, but that is a sort of... So you can see you can manipulate it like that, just drag that around, And you manipulate that, just drag that around. And again, let's just try it. So sketchy type. Just pulse in there. Also, you've got horizontal, you've got vertical, which I don't particularly like. I'm just going to just show you quickly that setting. Also, you've got here other options. You've got anchor points, you've got word, manipulate it in loads of ways with this. Also, you've got here path options. So you've got here closed spine. You might try circle, obviously a circular design. You've got rectangle, you've got wave, which I think is quite a nice one as well. But I'm just going to go back to the other one, open spline. And you've got offset as well, so you can change the offset. You can see it just crunches off. Instead of the word, obviously, sketchy, you've now got, obviously, on the other side, you've got skit and then tetchy at the start. I might put that back now. You can see you can change it in lots of different ways. Let's just, don't want it like that. So, sketchy. And, of course, all these can be keyframes, so you can just manipulate them. And, of course, you can add various options here. So, if you go down here, you can click this. And you've got here, down here, add parameter. You can oscillate and do loads of other things. Use various things to manipulate it even more. And also you've got here control points, which is a very odd one. So if you go down this one, you can see as you change that, again, you can manipulate it. Very, very interesting sort of just changes there for that control point. That's the control point there. And there's the control. So you see as you change it, down here, these will change, but you can manipulate it down here as well. And also you've got margins, which doesn't seem to be active, which is odd, but still. Appearance, I'm certain the margins and tabs are used in other places. Now you also notice here, you've got real nice features. So you've got here, you can save the format, save appearance attributes. If you want, you suddenly think, oh, you know what? I love that. You can save it. Also save all format. Also you've got here some styles. Though I must admit, most of the time I always find if I select one, let's just select it, neon, you get not exactly what you think you're going to get sometimes, but that's fine. Let's undo that. And again, format, you got back to format, let's just go format. You got this, you got all the different options here for slant, gone through all those. Now let's just run it finally, and you can see the effect of that. Maybe not the most amazing text. Maybe you might not want that, but you can see you've got an interesting text design, which of course what you can now do is let's just resize that, move it around, let's resize it, you can rotate it and other things, but also what you can do, you can duplicate it. So you could actually have right click and you could duplicate and then move that, manipulate that, maybe have that in the background. I just select again, sometimes when you don't do that, select that. And you could have those, obviously the settings to be different for the sketch and wriggle. You don't have to have them the same. Also what you can do is you may decide, you know what, let's add a blur to it. So you've got that. You can go here to the filters. You don't have to add it to the other one, but you can go to the filters and you can go down here to blur and maybe go for prism. I always love prism. Prism's a good one. So prism effect, and you can see with prism selected, you can then change the amount. So let's just increase that. So you can get an interesting colour effect there at the back. Change the angle. Again, you can still use keyframes and parameters, all those different settings there as well. Maybe you say, you know what, I want that, but also I want blur. So now obviously every bit you add, you're going to add more and more. It's probably going to slow things down a bit. You can see you can blur that text, but you've still got the other one still on top there. You've got that one there and you've got that one there. And you can manipulate them. So just position that over there and so on. Just going to resize. Sometimes it's very easy to select the wrong one. So select that one and now scale it. Probably best properties and scale. Oh, nope, that's not going to let me. Oh yes, that's what I want to do. Scale it a bit bigger and so on. But also, of course, you can add filters to that as well. So you can always go to filters, maybe go for distortion, maybe go for a bulge or something like that, or a bump map, etc., and manipulate that. And again, this can be done over the timeline. So you can manipulate, add bulge, change the amount, change the radius, scale, etc. And now, of course, let's just finally play it. You can see the sort of text effects after all that. And you can see because it's got a lot, it's going to be a bit slow. But of course you can then render it, just share it, and well, you get something like that. If you've got any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Always great to hear. Will you be using text effects like this? Do you think that there's other ways of using text tools to create all kinds of amazing stuff? Always great to hear in the comments below. Also, a thumbs up if you like the video, or a thumbs down if you didn't like the video. Also, please subscribe because I'm always adding new tutorials about, obviously, Apple Motion as I learn the product. Go through it because there's literally millions of ways to use Apple Motion. So it's a great tool for all kinds of different designs. Also, that's another thing. You can actually just go and share it as an image. So you can actually just get one part and then manipulate it, of course, in Photoshop or Affinity Photo or other applications as well. Anyway, bye.